Oops.
Watch me have an absurd amount of damage and like 0 kills, bro.
Average Marvel Rivals experience nowadays, bro.
Shamar got him, bro.
Like, bro, I'm getting like 50 million
Nah,
kills, bro.
Shamar, this guy almost killed you, bro.
Oh,
Agent, I was gonna spit you out. Don't worry.
I was gonna.
Wow.
Wait, what? Hey, yo, nah, you're gay. Quitters are quitters, bro.
Whoa. Hold overtime. I have my ult, bro. I'll finally get a kill.
Wait, you said you're finally gonna get a kill?
Finally get a kill is absolutely insane.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely insane.
Bro, I thought you were in like that one above the rest fucking rank or whatever.
One
it was
below
called,
the rest, bro.
He's
I'm
one
with the
above
older.
He's one above himself.
Died.
Oh, hell
He's in the me,
no.
myself, and I rank, bro.
Yeah,
I
that
used
was
my ult and I got
actually
stunned,
good,
bro.
Alright.
that was brutal, bro.
No.
Getting jammed is
That's
so
a warm up. That's a
infuriating,
warm up.
man.
That's a warm up. That's a warm up.
Yo, how much damage do you guys have?
2 point shots.
I'm a healer.
Yeah, I got-
1800.
I should glitch.
Yeah, 1800 too.
1800? Okay. I have 10k damage, dog.
What?
Bruh.
And two kills.
Oh, you're Squirrel Girl, bro.
You
that's
scroll
why.
girl, bro.
Bro, regardless, 2
He's
kills.
donating at that point to the healing stats, bro. He's dead ass.
Right?
The healer's looking at their
I'm
stats like,
helping
wow, I
him
really
tag,
am the
bro.
GOAT,
Bro, yeah, you're the reason they got fucking like 25 assists on their team, bro.
You're not even wrong. Motherfuckers mad at me for
OG
doing damage.
Juker, OG Nico,
Nah,
bro.
getting
What's
mad
with
at me
these
for doing
guys,
damage
bro?
is crazy, bro.
I know that Tio Vic guy hates us.
Bro, what do you mean? You act like he's doing any better than us, bro.
I mean,
the most
Yeah,
kills,
he got
bro.
2 kills.
He's just
He's leading the team.
Capture the mission area.
Yo, should be locking him.
We got no healers now,
No,
bro. Oh, we're so cooked.
No healers? Yeah,
No
it's already
healers?
good.
Alright.
Yeah,
Don't worry, yo, we're just gonna work fast, yo. That's it.
yeah.
Straight passion.
Meet your padre, meet your ma- Wait, what?
Retweaking, bro.
Keep your tentacles to yourself, Namor.
Okay, you did all that and hit. Okay. I don't know why you did that. Why you did that?
Inside the mission area.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Their tanks are elite, bro.
What do you, bro? There's nobody healing us.
That's
Oh,
also
that
true.
ultimate killed me?
I'll switch the thing. A healer.
Alright, I'll switch after my.
Yeah, I'm gonna
ult,
switch
bro.
to healer too.
Oh, okay, never mind.
The whole team just switched to healers. We're on 6 healers now.
We probably win.
We actually
How
end up
far
winning.
could we realistically go with that?
6 healers and 5 healers and Magneto, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised if we could actually win.
Oh my god, bro. Get off my face.
Meet your padre.
Hey guys, I'm here. With the heals.
Oh my god, bro.
What you with this Namor turret? Yo, just get the fuck out of there. You're gonna die with
I'm
the.
so
the
cooked.
woman out. Yeah, it's like impossible to heal inside this. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I'm back though. I can't switch characters yet.
Their strange is good.
Yo, heal me, Minir.
I'm Emma Frost, bro.
Sorry, I was trying to aura max.
Or I'm maxing in the middle of the fight, bro.
We're already
While getting
losing,
cooked?
bro.
Yeah.
I'm just going
nah,
for
nah,
the
he's winning,
at
bro.
this
No,
point.
we're losing.
There's some motion. There's some motion.
Even I lie.
Come to me, Shams. I'm about to heal you, bro.
I already got him. Or you
Oh,
got
I'm
him.
so cooked. I'm so cooked. Alright.
I got your finish, Amar?
Oh, these guys are raping. These guys are actually raping.
No. They're crumbling now. They're crumbling. Namor down.
You think so?
You look at this. Watch we get this thing out the way. It's GG's.
Go up time.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Oh
What?
my god.
How did you guys all get cooked? Was that like
I was
on
in the middle of
purpose?
doing mouse match. What do you mean it was on purpose? What the hell are you fucking Harlem Globetrotters? Fucking staging our performances mid-game.
I was like, nah, there's no way that just happened.
Oh, your sacrifice might be in vain, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna die here.
Not me.
Don't worry, buddy. The
Oh,
Avengers
I got
are
revived. Let's
here.
go. Let's go. I got revived.
revived.
No, I'm back. We're so back.
Mr. Padre.
We're so
Mr.
back.
Padre. Wait, what?
We're so back.
We might actually be back, bro.
Look at this.
No,
Look at
it's not
this.
copy. The fuck you want some map? I'm kidding, jokes.
Get this fucking Doctor Strange out of here, bro. Oh my god, bro. This guy's off the
What the hell?
point.
This is such a dominant performance from our squirrel girl.
What is actually going on right now, bro?
Bro, I'm trying to put up numbers, bro. Oh my, get this fucking thing, bro. Holy.
You bro, it's not me, bro.
Finally.
Nah, he's actually
Smoking
not
on
me.
that thing, Pacquiao.
Oh my
Let's get
god,
it.
Alan, this is how you play this character, bro.
Here's the thing.
That's actually crazy. Yeah, we actually won. Okay, we didn't win, but
We did something.
We're as down as we could possibly be, bro.
Portal.
You are not getting away, bro.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh.
That's not good.
I
That's
just
not
used my
good.
ult.
Things low, things low.
I'm going after him. I'm going after
What is that our ultimate?
Ah shit.
It was ours. The one that was there.
Oh
Yo,
my, I
man,
have
just
no
hold it down
health.
for
I have
just a
no
little.
health. I have no health.
Oh, Alan, that was so close. Alan
Shit.
just finished his Doctor Strange years ago. Pause.
I'm dead. Fuck.
Alan, no.
I'm back. I'm back.
A
I'm
man
back.
said
I'm back.
just. Oh, heal.
I'm healing.
I was like, I thought you killed her. I was like, you can do that in this game?
Doctor Strange is on point.
Oh no!
I got stunned.
Rocket, I'm gonna need you to lock in. Thank you.
I got Strange.
Got you guys. I actually did lock it. Shams, come back
Oh,
to
fuck
us.
this
I
guy.
got Iron Man.
Hide.
Ah.
I had to
Good,
get
she got nobody.
that Iron Man. I had to get that Iron Man.
Yo, you guys are all locked in right now, can't lie.
Okay, we got one down. Oh, Scarlet Witch up top, Scarlet Witch down.
Iron Man might be a problem. I
Yeah.
can't lie.
I used my ult, by the way. You guys can go nuts.
Bet.
Nuts, you said? Okay. Rocket's one shot. Iron Man's one
What a waste
shot.
of an ultimate.
Iron Man down.
Rocket's one shot again.
Doctor Strange
Strange
weak.
one shot.
Doctor Strange down.
Wanda's coming back.
Let's go, boys.
Oh my
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
Come
I
back,
told
yo.
you. I told you they were crumbling.
Yo, this is like dude, one come back to our shit, bro.
Bruh. I told you we were as down as we could possibly be, bro.
99%.
99%.
99, that's like 0, bro.
You're crazy. We locked in. We're locked.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna jump off now.
Alright, bet.
What? Huh?
Trying to jump off. It won't let me.
Get ready.
Alan, you're leaving?
No. He was
No,
trying to
bro,
jump off the
I,
map,
like-
bro.
Like, jump off the map, bro.
Oh, I was like, bro, I thought you were gonna quit this match.
Pull the Surfell or some shit, bro. How you gonna leave? How you gonna leave? This is the exact position Surfell left in too, bro. It was we lost the first one, we won the second one.
I'm
you
saying
fucking
if
left.
Alan's character is replaced by somebody that goes 0 for 9, I don't know, man. I'd have to look at it like the Luka trade. You know?
Alright,
That's
let's lock
Lost
it.
basically,
somebody
that's basically
really
what I
bad.
did, bro.
But
One.
I'm gonna show, man. I'm gonna show.
Do is capture the mission.
So you got a Spider-Man? Oh, it's over. You guys
I've been Spider-Man. I've been
been had a
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, bro.
Wait, you've been Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
That's why I switched out to after.
I haven't noticed Spider-Man. That's how fast this kid jumping around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, yo, where is this guy? Spider-Man
That's
and the
crazy.
Flash.
I did not notice that.
You see me be using my team up with him, bro?
I'll wrap around.
Chasing me.
Thing is dead?
Oh, I don't think I needed him.
Yeah, I got 4 of them over here.
Mine.
They're behind us. I was trying to mark.
I think it's Scarlet Witch.
They're actually playing smart now. They're just going straight for the backline.
That's fine. We're good here. We still got it. The thing about getting the backline is you actually have to kill them, right? So
Facts.
I'm just chilling with the big dogs. Oh, we're over here.
I don't want a con reference.
No, unfortunately not. I'm not that close. Got this squid. Going after the thing from a distance.
But stay at a distance.
You know,
Don't let
Dr.
him
Strange
get
is behind
close.
you, Alan.
I can tell. He's gonna keep running away. I hope you guys can deal with him. I see Shamar dealing with him. I'm gonna heal him as he's dealing with
I
him.
know, I can't fight him right now. Fuck. You're not-
Okay, you're good.
Alright.
Who's targeting me?
Everybody.
Star-Lord is-
Oh, I died to that.
Mission area.
Back-to-back
Oh,
stunts. Fuck.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a good double combo on their part. And we were actually cooking in the beginning.
the stun was crazy. Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, this isn't looking.
Yo, we'll all push.
Yeah, wait,
We'll all
let's
push
wait for
together.
everyone. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll all push together again.
Bro, you're not waiting.
I'm right
Guys,
here.
wait, at the time I shoot.
No, he's waiting. He's waiting.
Alright, let's go, let's go.
I appreciate you.
Damn, bro, mob ties, mob ties.
You guys can go in whenever you're ready.
I'll show this more thing.
Not ready, bro.
Alex, can I get some heals right quick?
Thing's almost dead.
Yeah.
Thing's dead.
There you. My bad. I was trying to kill thing.
Don't even stress, bro. Don't even stress. Do your thing whenever you can.
Rocket Loki does fair
Oh
damage
shit.
against the.
Oh shit. I'm gonna die.
Fuck! Me and Munir, but Munir, I thought we actually got out of it.
Nah, we did not get out of there at all, bro.
No, she just came way too close there.
You probably could have got out of there if you ran on some walls, bro.
You're not even wrong.
I was cooked. I use my jumps.
Behind you,
already.
behind you, behind you.
No way he dropped that to the dropping thing, yo.
Oh, I fucking.
Oh, second back.
Oh, God. These fucking guys. Says touching me. Doctor Strange is. Oh, my God. There you go.
Can't get anywhere near their healings, yo.
Oh fuck!
Bounding back into action.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Yo,
Oh, I'm dead.
Yo, this is so scary. What the fuck? He's chasing me.
That killed me, bro.
Oh,
Yo,
shit.
he's
I'm just gonna
jelly
die.
chasing me.
Oh, we don't have anybody on point. It's over.
Fuck.
Damn.
Who
Bro, I'm
knocked in?
scared for
No
my
skill,
fucking
bro.
life, bro. I'm actually scared for my life. Bro.
Who doesn't?
Oh my goodness. Scarlet Witch?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a Scarlet Witch on their team one day.
Yeah, I mean, she's cracked, bro. 29 and 10, I can't lie.
Damn.
Why do I have so much damage? Was I playing tank in the
You're
beginning?
playing Squirrel Girl, bro.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, 10k damage of Squirrel Girl, bro.
I was so
Alan, do you
confused.
see these? Alan, do you see these healing stats, bro?
Oh no, I didn't get a check. How do we do?
I just held touchpad.
16k
You
and
had
13k.
1600. Bro.
Was that better than their team?
I didn't see.
Oh, I didn't look at their team. I'm not a comparison type of guy.
Judging.
Oh, I am like I have to do better than them, bro. Otherwise, I won't be happy.
Better than the ops.
Oh, we got Wolverine on the team.
I can try tank.
Eat nuts.
Meet your padre,
and
meet your madre. Yo, why is this not stuck in my fucking head, bro? Please get it out.
I think the
I
part that
don't-
makes it the worst is it's just the one lyric that he's singing. There's nothing
I know
else.
exactly who to play.
Oh, we're definitely winning now. Black Widow?
Oh.
God dang, bro.
Oh, you're playing
Wait.
Black Widow for real?
No, bro.
Oh, damn.
30 seconds
Who
before
do you
you
think I am?
get ready.
One healer, let's fucking go. I can't wait to lose.
Trust the process.
It's okay, bro.
Yo, Super, Eddie got a free skin, eh? I don't know if you ended up claiming it. It's a pretty cool skin. I can't remember. what
Is it the orange Venom one?
It's something cool, yeah. No. Yo, is that free?
Yeah, it is. No, it's not free. It's not free.
Starts in 5,
Yeah. Oh, no wonder I got charged $5.
2,
What the
Oh, you paid
fuck,
$5 for it?
What the fuck's going on right now?
I paid
all you
8.
need to do
Wait, what?
Super,
Yeah, my bad, yeah. I did it
I got
too.
charged to the
Fuck yeah.
administrative
You
fee.
get a free legendary skin out of it, that's why.
This guy's killing
I
me.
opened, up
Yo,
the, I opened up the pack. I just seen like 3 laughing
Yo, yo.
emojis. I was
Yeah,
like,
so
what?
why'd they charge me $5? I paid $8.
Yo, can someone play Venom and start working in the middle?
Yeah, I got you. No, wait, I got you when I die next time, bro. So it's good. Yo, these guys are touching
Why are
me,
they
bro.
absolutely frying us? What the fuck?
No.
It was their Loki. It was their Loki. It was
The
like,
Loki and they have a Namor, bro, with the squids.
and we have one healer.
And they
left.
have the fucking magic with the fucking
I'm gonna go heal it too. I'm gonna go
demon
heal it too.
shit, bro. Alright, I'm gonna go Venom
Okay,
and start
okay.
working, bro, and hope they don't kill me.
Wait, please don't do that, bro.
Huh?
I was
Okay,
completely
so we
lying.
gotta- oh, never mind.
I actually want to win.
Yeah, we got a good team now.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, I messed that up real bad.
No. At least 1 to 2 more, yeah.
Wait, did the Leafs win?
The Leafs win? Oh yeah, it's game 2 today.
I hope they won, man.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
The Leafs didn't win? Oh, I'm back. That's cool.
That was me, bro. You have to give me a kiss, man.
Oh my god, I'm dead. Yo.
Whenever you guys are back, just remember it's me, bro. That was me.
Watch out for a Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's going crazy.
Do you love the
Oh, we got a kill. Let's go. We got 1 kill.
Let's get another. Let's get another. Come on, let's get greedy.
That's big. That's our first kill.
That's actually nuts. I thought we had more kills.
Yo, we should
They just
attack
won't
them.
die.
Yo, can someone flank them? Maybe that can help.
Yo.
You guys wanna push where we could have it ult?
Oh, he took Agit's ult? That's so tough.
That actually is very tough. And he's cooking us right now, I can't lie. He's gently raping us.
Yo, they almost got it.
And me and Shamar stayed alive. I'm pushing in with Shamar. Shamar's about to ult, I'm assuming. I hope he ults.
Yeah,
I'm in the ult.
Oh, okay, I'm
W
about
ult.
to ult.
W ult. W ult.
Everybody's lit. Everybody's lit. Oh, I don't
How
want to be
did
old
I
dark. I don't
How
want to
did I
build
die?
nothing.
How did I even die? I was sitting
Probably a
in the
name
ult.
more thing.
It was definitely Namor thing.
The
So why the
woman's
fuck did you kill
so
me?
low, bro. Fuck.
Wait, so Namor's able to kill you in her ult? How
Oh,
did
he
it
Yeah.
It's
just
nuts.
does a lot of damage, bro. Oh, I'm dead.
It's only because Black
Oh.
Panther was a fucking blockbuster film, man. That's so fucking gay, bro. Added all these random ass features. So stupid.
It's your fault, bro. You made
What
it a
the
good movie.
I didn't even fucking watch it. I did my
What the
job.
hell? Nah.
Oh, I don't
actually-
watch. I don't watch woke movies.
What the fuck? It was actually a great movie. 12 out of 10.
Yeah. I bet if you were woke, you
Fuck
probably
you, bro.
felt that way.
I was gonna call me sheep now. We're enjoying it.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, you're not giving top tier energy, man.
You're sheep,
No, it's not.
bro.
I'm not feeling it.
Before you attack,
I'm
Bro, Alan, like, how does it feel to be in the Matrix right now, bro? Like, real shit.
Fuck.
Bro, I can't believe they put Marvel Rivals in the Matrix, bro.
Yo, that's so
God,
crazy.
when they updated that, bro, it was like it was some crazy shit, bro.
Yo, at some point we gotta understand, like, what are they just doing with the females' asses? Like,
Wait, what?
That's a weird way to phrase that question, but
like, why are they making it so big for no reason, bro? It's definitely, this is kind of weird at this point.
you think there's some
I'm not mad.
you think there's a BBL agenda going on, bro?
Yeah, like,
BBL agenda containing the West.
damage.
where's the headquarters? In Japan, or?
How'd you know my name was Quarters?
Oh, somebody heal me. Pretty please.
Where are you? I'm gonna find
Right
you.
here, you meant to be in.
Yo, somebody
Yeah.
get rid of this guy's squids, bro. Oh my god, yo, somebody. Alright. Oh, I'm back.
Rest easy then. Looks like the mission area is yours to capture.
Alright, did we get rid of the squids yet? Guys?
I'm working on it.
Honestly, as long as you're happy, bro.
I'm not happy,
Oh!
bro. I'm not happy, bro.
Not fucking with the squids. Not a Saw baby fan.
Oh my god, these guys are so bad. Let me switch to a real character.
Oh, Emma Frost is so weak. Oh, she's dead.
Let me switch to a character that can get us some motion.
Who are you even playing?
Black Widow.
Okay, come on, bro. Go join yourself. Their Hawkeye
Oh my
is
God, this
absolutely crying, bro. I'm watching his gameplay. He's just KO after KO. What the fuck?
He's hacking, bro.
You think so? I don't know. Maybe he's just fucking good. But
I actually never watched a single clip of him, to be honest. So I can't really tell, but I think he's hacking.
brother, I just popped in and just got raped.
Yo.
Magic's nice.
Bro, their Hawkeye has a quad. Every time, why do I keep watching his gameplay?
Does he keep killing you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's only one explanation, Alan.
Honestly, that actually makes a lot of sense.
That's the only way you can see his gameplay is if he kills you, bro. He's on the other team.
What? Quad is insane, though.
Like, are you rotating until you get to him, or?
Are you
Okay,
lining
yeah,
up
he's
for him,
actually-
bro? Or are you...
It's hard to watch, bro. I'm just gonna run away.
Alright. Let me play Squirrel Girl, bro. Let me
I can't even run away, bro. I can't even run away.
Next game, I gotta
can't
pull
even
out
run away.
the.
How am I ace now? What are you guys actually doing, bro?
Their team's capture progress has
Yo, you cannot let me be ace, bro.
Why not, bro? You're sick. Alright, no more Zace now. You don't got it anymore, bro. You're not sick.
You're not that guy, bro.
But let me be Ace's Rocket, bro. Ace's Rocket is insane.
Yo, I just seen the Hawkeye skin. Yeah, we never stood a chance.
Oh my fucking goodness, bro.
Bro,
What
this
is
guy looks
going
like an
on?
Assassin's
Jen,
Creed
I'm
character.
trying to heal, bro.
guy's
You guys are getting
19 and
shot
0.
down.
powering up.
I'm literally trying
We
to
have
heal. You're just
3
getting
kills
shot
as a
down.
team.
But we can
Let's
barely
go.
kill Hawkeye
Let's
once.
make it 4.
It's about to be 4. Watch this.
Bro, generally, what is
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
going on? Many of your dogs. What is your stat line right now?
You know binary?
Dog, when I checked the name, I was appalled. I was like, dog, there's no way that's real, bro.
Yo, fucking Frog is a demon. Binary.
Yo, you gotta get a kill at least out of it.
Yo, oh my god. Wow, that's crazy.
20 and 0,
Yo, Neymar-
18 and 0.
Neymar stole my ace, bro. Nah, I don't give a fuck. Neymar stole my ace.
Stole your
Yo, can we switch to comp? I can't believe I'm asking this.
Why, bro? So we can get rid
Bro
of
wants to lose.
Comp? You saw how we were playing in comp, bro. We actually stood a chance.
Dude, we did.
The demons are running loose tonight, bro. At fucking 10:55 Eastern Standard Time. This is crazy.
That Loki took just started raping us, bro.
Bro, that
Sure
Loki took
fucking
magic
rats.
salt and started raping us. At one point there was 2 magics just raping us.
So fucking crying, bro.
Thank God the Lakers are closing this game out properly, man. I was getting worried.
1 sec.
They're up by 23 or 22. I can't do math.
Alright, we're gonna win this next one, guys. I believe in us.
Me when I lie.
Nah, they're gonna put us in bot lobby this time, watch.
Are they actually?
No.
Nice. I heard if you lose a bunch of games, they put you in bot lobbies. You can get your groove back.
Yeah,
you
these
know?
guys don't
Yeah.
like seem like real names.
They put you in the G
have-
League.
Look at their levels, bro.
You'll need a top-notch
Why,
Level 2,
is it
level
insane?
1, level 4, level 2, level 5.
Okay. I'm gonna go easy then. I'm gonna go easy.
Yo.
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm gonna go with a different character.
Yo, they're low levels, so let's go easy on them. You know, like don't be mean and shit.
Why
bro.
would we do that? Why would we go easy on them? Did they go easy on us last game?
Maybe they were, bro. I don't know. Maybe we're just bad.
You're not
Bro,
even
they were
wrong,
double
bro.
fisting us, man. When people are weak, they're weak, bro. You can't coddle them. Or else they'll stay that way.
That Hawkeye though is touching me up. I can't even lie. Like
That's
the
what I'm
ways I didn't
saying,
wanna be
bro.
touched.
You wanna know why that Hawkeye got so good? Because one game he pulled up a binary code. He went 0 for 10,
I'm back.
bro, and then he had a lot.
Oh, you're back.
Whoa.
Oh,
When
we
you're
just started. We
I'm
just
back.
started the game, bro.
Don't do this to me, bro.
It just
Oh
started.
God, we just started the game, bro.
Don't do this to me, bro.
Bro.
What are we supposed to do? All 5 of us are supposed to quit? That's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm
It's a
down.
typical-
Yes, all 5 of you are supposed to quit,
I
bro.
mean, I'll do it.
Nah.
I wouldn't feel good about
That's
it.
fine. I'll wear. So,
Bro, we're versing a bunch of bots
Alright.
anyways, bro.
just message me when y'all get out.
Okay.
It should be like soon.
2, 1.
Cause yo, this is like some bot lobby from what I'm
Yeah.
able to see.
To the mission area.
It's pretty easy
Got
though.
it?
Yeah, unless.
Yo, watch these guys
Yo,
dirty
I
us.
think that's absolutely fucking ripping. Yo, what is going on?
I died.
You died? Oh shit.
Bro, Spider-Man killed me. I didn't really have a Spider-Man.
What
Oh
actually
shit, yo.
happened?
That's actually the most terrifying sentence I've ever heard Shamar say in my life. What do you mean you didn't even know they had a Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Double KO.
Alright, let me play real character for a second.
Bro, wasn't going 10 again?
Just call me Ben 10, bro.
Tell me Benton. Yo, Penny, it's a face-off. Lock in. I'm helping you. I'm
Face
really
off like
helping you. You
Nicolas
can't lose
Cage.
this.
Oh,
Bro, I swear to God, all my life, I've been shooting this guy for like 9 days.
Don't worry, I ended up helping you.
it's okay, bro.
Thank you, I need it. Oh, what the?
Like that Mos Def song?
Mathematics?
No, that's still
Am I
not
thinking of
it.
the wrong person?
Well, I didn't hear what he said. I'm just saying shit.
I didn't even sing.
What song you
Yo,
chose?
nice.
Days.
We have to speed win this, okay?
Okay, we have
At
7.
no
we have
point-
7 minutes left. I don't know if we can. I don't know.
It's a lot of time, man. Actually, it's not enough.
I
mean.
died again.
Self-guided spider bombs?
All right. We got some antagonizing Shamar in the chat.
Superhero is a piece of cake compared to being
Wait, what?
Cage's name.
Wait, what?
Bots.
Some-
Now that was stressful.
who said that? Oh, Shamar said that.
I am ready to put on a show.
Mucho padre.
I want to meet my face on your podcast no more.
Yo, they locked in, bro. Still.
They did, they did.
Oh,
That's the only part of the song I know.
Gym day, motherfucker.
Just day, let's get it
Pre-workout
on.
kicked in. So pre-workout kicked in so hard. Jeez.
That's a beauty. What a beauty.
Yo, can somebody heal me? For the love of God. Hey,
For the love of God.
Am I the only healer, or is there another one?
we got 2.
Oh, yo,
my
man,
God,
you ever,
I just shut that
you ever
shit
heard this
down,
song
down.
Rio by Pay Gotti?
Not that I can remember.
I'm sending over to you right now.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Just all one person.
Hey man, I got their healer.
What the fuck? Why am I
fucking
chasing after this
Spider-Man's
guy
touching
and
me. Spider-Man's touching me.
What is Luna actually doing, bro? Lock in.
Yo, relax, bro. I'm trying. Who's whispering sweet nothing?
Oh
into the mic?
hell no! Oh
Oh,
hell
I shut it down.
no.
I shut it down.
Nah, he still has it, bro. He still has it, bro.
Okay, I just started playing.
Bro, I have
He's
played.
transcended the need for the game.
I'm not done.
He's reached another plane.
He's no
the
longer
fuck?
playing. He's reached another plane.
Most def in the chat going crazy.
Never
You guys
says
see the
clear,
Disney
bro.
skit?
No, what is it?
You know, like the woke rappers and shit. I don't know if you guys are seeing it. It's so chill.
I'm the disciple. I carry the rifle.
Get that vehicle moving again.
What'd you say your name was, Ezekiel?
Yo, Super, fuck you. I actually thought the Luna Snow was you. It's not you, bro. Whoever that player
I
is,
didn't.
They're generally ass, bro.
Oh.
This better
well,
be
they're not
nice.
even-
You thought-
I am ready to put on a show.
Oh,
Like,
I'm so
whoa.
cooked.
When I heard it was Super, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I feel bad and shit now.
I was like,
then I
look at
kept
your big cheeks.
And then I'm like, yo, why is this person so ass? And I check again, and I'm like,
Hey, now they're invisible woman, bro.
We are.
I mean, no wonder, bro. It's fucking shit.
Damn, Alan. I didn't even know you swore.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know if I can be friends with you after I learned that shit, bro.
That's kind of fucked up, bro.
That's kind of
Come
fucked
on.
up, bro.
Wasn't you store shit? Yo, fuck you, bro. Magic, come back and open, and I'll heal you. Oh fuck, never mind. I got raped.
Fucking you died, bro. What the hell?
I know. I went to go heal him and I got raped.
Loki just remembered I had a Spider-Man team up again. Was not using it for like the last minute and a half.
Real, bro. Real. I actually rate that.
You raped that? Why would you do that?
What? Huh?
Light skin, but got fat ass.
What? That's why you do it?
J-Lo.
Wow. Oh.
Real young OG.
That's be the Pac-Man, bro. Get it right.
Real young OG. Did you ever listen to the album, bro? The album dropped?
You got the album? I didn't even know that still.
Yeah, he dropped the album like a month ago, bro. I think.
Where?
She not die.
On SoundCloud.
Yeah, Shamar, there was two.
I don't think he dropped the album. He dropped a single.
Real young OG?
We're actually finding it right now.
Nah, he definitely dropped an album, bro.
Oh, Rio Free. I see it now.
I appreciate you.
Yo, shit, our ship player actually locked in.
Oh, sick.
Bullying works.
Yo, get this guy out of here, bro.
I like that. Bullying works.
What the hell? I hit this guy with my webs and this guy didn't fucking stop shooting. That's crazy. There you go.
Wow, 4 in a row.
Telling you, you can't rush me.
They're actually
Can you
not
fuck
as
it?
ass as we thought. So we have to give them credit there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying they're good, but I'm not saying they're like as ass as we imagined.
Definitely could have been worse. Definitely.
Yo, we have 6 of us. Yo, you guys just want to run 3s?
On threes.
I might hop off like literally after like 1 or 2 fights. Just because my brother wants to hop on with his boys.
Oh, with his boys, bro? How many
Come on,
boys does he
man.
got?
Actually, yo, honestly, ask him how many guys he got,
How
bro.
many guys he got? If he got 5, bro, we can run 5v5 right now.
We
I
can
don't know.
run 5v5 right now.
But they don't even play rivals like that. They're gonna play COD. Like,
Yeah, we're gonna teach you. We're gonna put belt to ass then, bro. We're gonna teach them. We're gonna teach them how to play rivals, bro.
Why would he play that? What the?
We're
gonna teach them how to play rivals, bro.
Hey man, I know you want to play COD, but can we beat the shit out of you in Marvel Rivals instead? Yeah, why not, bro?
What type of goofy ass shit is that, bro?
You know, when you put it like that, it's hard to say no.
Alright, but ask him though, ask him though.
Like, what the fuck kind of proposal is this, bro?
Hey, do you like want to not talk to me for the rest of the week? Let's play Marvel Rivals.
He would actually never live it down though. So like he's a competitive guy.
Imagine
Yeah,
Alan just randomly brought it up to tease him. It's like, bro, like why this? Like, why would you do that? Just mock him and shit.
Like, I told him.
Nah, these guys must be bots, bro. I just got 6 kills in a row.
I just went 31-1, and I didn't get MVP.
I just put up a nice little double-double, bro.
Bro, I have 19 final hits.
How? I was joking. I thought I actually got it. What? Bro, this is so woke, man. I swear.
Bro, do some more
Yeah,
damage next
Super-
time. The
You're
fuck?
so stupid, bro. You're always getting snubbed, bro. You're always getting
Yo,
snubbed.
I'm done
Like, what
too,
the
low-key.
What? Man stole my MVP then cut. I am sick to my stomach.
I'm still here, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry.
Bro, watch my highlight. You'll see why I have MVP, bro.
Alright, I'm down for all of us. Alan, one more game with Surfa and then we're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, yeah, Surfa week.
I'm done.
Sure hurts. Whatever. We're good. Just running.
Raffy Daffy joined your team? Fuck, how do we ban him? Well,
Oh.
Yo, what happens if you like remove him from like your team matchmaking shit, and then you invite him to your party, bro?
What the fuck?
All right, let's lab some more Panay Parker.
The more dazzling the diamond.
Oh, Spider-Man versus Spider-Man, bro. Oh.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll go with my second character.
From the
Crazy
bottom up.
hour.
From the bottom up.
Money can't buy happiness.
Oh wait, I like the shark way better. I'm gonna switch to the shark.
Everything else.
I get to actually fight.
I thought you were Rocket Man, bro. Nah, Rocket does fair damage, bro. Just to walk him down, bro.
But that's only if they're a tank.
Nah, you can walk down anybody, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you mean? How would it be easier if it's a tank, bro?
No, like the tanks it just obliterates them. I usually
Bro,
always
it
target
does the
tanks.
same amount of damage to everybody, bro.
No, bro, no. It's racist to tanks specifically. Trust. You just don't know. You
Tanks are
don't know, bro.
I think you're using the gun.
Bro,
right,
this
bro.
game's so fucking woke, bro.
Bro, it's made in China, bro. What do you expect?
Fair enough.
Oh, no way. They have an Iron
What the
Man.
fuck? Yeah. Literally. Come on, you know when I noticed that?
Bro.
When I noticed that, I literally was just
Bro, what the fuck is
Oh
happening?
my god, I got obliterated, bro. What the heck?
These guys are not bots.
This queen's reign isn't over.
No way.
These
what
guys
the
are very, very conscious. Very sentient. Alright.
Don't tell me I'm gonna have to play a character I can actually play good with.
You would
Come on, right
definitely
behind
do.
you, buddy.
Oh no.
Good boy.
Oh my god, they killed Alan, bro.
I just switched to rocket.
They cloned Tyrone, bro.
They cloned Tyrone? Oh fuck.
They cloned Tyrone.
I'm
Who the
dead.
fuck is Tyrone, bro? Who's Tyrone?
They cloned him, bro.
Who the fuck is Tyrone, man?
You never
Bro,
seen the
clone
backyard
Tyrone,
again, bro?
man. Come on, that's not cool.
What are you even saying, bro?
You never seen the backyard again, bro?
Language.
Language.
Watch your body
Language.
That's America's ass.
now. Holy.
Super, when I say the word stupid, he's like, yo, what the hell?
I'm like,
Why'd you
excuse
say
me?
that,
What'd you say?
What the hell?
What the hell are you on
What the
to?
hell?
Bro, these fucking squids are so annoying, bro.
They very much are, I can't even lie to you.
Yo. Me when I'm SpongeBob and Patrick?
They actually love
Oh my
Squidward,
god, I'm actually so bad. Yo, how do you get a Black Panther?
Pretend to be Squidward Day, bro. They were cooking his
You
ass.
don't play him? You don't play him, bro. That's what you do.
bro. Type of shit that changes
I'm
the
gonna
whole
go
friendship
inside
with
and
the
be
guy.
boring.
You can't be rid of
They fried his ass, bro, for no reason.
Time to stop them.
Created a holiday just to flame his ass. But honestly, the way Squidward acts sometimes, he had it coming to him. He can't act
Wait, what?
oblivious.
We're just trying to play clarinet, bro. He's a multifaceted artist, bro. In every medium.
Hey, team!
Hey team.
Wow, we don't even have a kill. We have one kill.
We're about to have. Yeah.
Isn't this our
Oh,
full
I'm dead.
squad? What went wrong?
Don't worry.
This is like some random group of people. This is our entire friend group.
Don't worry,
We
bro,
fucking
bro.
demolished.
The last.
Don't worry, bro.
They're only on the second
I
point,
switched
bro.
to
don't
all
worry.
reliable.
Emma Frost.
I switched to
No,
all reliable, bro. it's
fucking, you
fine.
found fundamentals,
That's
bro.
the punisher.
That's the fundamentals, bro.
Stop that vehicle.
R2 and spray. R2 and
Good
spray.
old reliable, bro.
Oh my god.
Good old reliable, bro.
Mr.
Yo, Alan,
Fundamentals.
Alan, drop the thing, bro.
He dropped the 10.
Alan, not here.
I dropped my ultimate.
Oh, you told me to drop it. What did you want me to drop?
Bro, how did I die in my ultimate? What the heck?
Yeah.
Someone be like,
Oh my
"That's the
frames.
liberal
Oh my
virus doctor.
frames.
thing." Get out of there! Get out of there! Get out of there!
Holy
Fall
fuck,
back,
bro.
soldier. Fall back.
Somebody help me. Ah. I'm dead.
I'm not gonna lie, Munir.
Yeah,
We
man.
just saw you get annihilated. I was
Yeah.
healing you and could not keep you alive.
Us against the world.
Okay.
I will have
Yo, it's
my
them against the
revenge.
world.
Bro, they are stepping on our couches here, bro. We gotta put up some fight.
Stop that vehicle.
Mm.
They hit a
Oh,
checkpoint.
I didn't mean to press that
Now
button.
might be a good time to stop them.
Alright. Don't worry, guys.
That ultimate ain't getting nobody, bro.
I say watch
Oh,
out
how
for
many
that,
ults
guys.
was this? Did you guys see how many ults that was?
Dare the very gates of hell to save Asgard.
No, get him!
Better stop that vehicle.
Bro, I'm struggling right now.
Who are you? Oh,
Mr. Punisher.
Mr. Punisher.
Mr. Punisher. Yo, it's so formal.
I got cheese.
It's now.
You guys
So-
treat him
so
with
respecting.
respect, bro.
5 minutes. 5 minutes? Yo, lock in for
Yeah,
5
alright,
minutes.
we got it. This is the easiest 5
Y'all,
minutes. of our life, bro.
y'all ain't giving me one game, bro. I don't wanna lose.
Oh, the hog's back. Oh, that's not good.
On God, I'm not hitting anybody. On God, I'm not hitting
They're all to
anybody.
the right. They're all hiding in this fucking corner, bro.
I got one. I got
so
one
funny.
kill.
Oh, my game crashed. No.
Your
What?
game crashed?
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
back.
he's
I'll be
literally
back.
fucking-
I'll be back. I'll be back.
he's
I'll be back.
back.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hold it down. Hold it down. Hold it down. Hold it down. Hold it down.
Was it hold it down?
Oh my
It's over.
God, bro.
Sorry, we're cooked.
Hold it down.
It
Hold
was
it
no-
down.
Bro, we're in the
That
final
would work.
stretch of this game and this game crashed.
Hold
That's
it
crazy.
down.
Fab. Fab.
Bro, how many
there's
You're
not
gonna
gonna
lose
be
the
a
one
game.
game, bro. That's it. Y'all getting off after. That's crazy, fam.
Yo, this cell
Hold
jump
it
is
down.
crazy,
Hold
bro.
it down. Hold it down.
Yo, can someone fuck up the healers? Thanks. Ow, 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 ow.
We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Marvel Games. NetEase Games.
Okay,
Unreal Engine 5.
God.
Alright, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Bro,
hell
my
yeah.
shit crashed too.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
What?
Oh, what are you guys?
this guy's he's capping. He's
That's
capping.
game.
He's capping.
Alright, well, I hope it crashed, because, buddy, you're not coming back anyways.
Damn. Oh, we lost? Fuck.
We got demolished.
Y'all were trying.
Yo, Servo. Shut the fuck up, bro.
What do you mean? Y'all just gonna leave that? That's crazy, bro.
I never said I was gonna leave.
I just left
I'll
already.
stay. I'll stay.
Bro, I'm 2-8. Bro, how am I? Bro, that
I'll
was
stay.
sorry. So.
Alright, run it back one
I'll
more
stay
time.
I'll stay for one more.
Yeah,
I'll stay.
one more.
I'll stay for a win.
I'll stay for only if I get to play Iron Fist.
Do whatever you want,
Go for it, bro.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I know how I'm playing Iron Fist and shit, so I just want to make sure I'm not stealing anyone's.
Is it Iron Fist or
Pick your
thing?
hero or villain. I'm not judging.
Iron Fist.
You got
Iron
it, bro.
Fist.
You
Yeah.
got it, bro.
I shine.
Yeah. No, nobody else wants it.
You got it, bro.
Where's
That's all
Agit
you
at?
need. I just left already, bro.
Oh, what the heck? He didn't even from the
This guy left immediately. Didn't say bye or anything, bro.
thing.
What is this? Where did you put me?
What?
Like, where are we right now?
We're on
Do we even have
Oh,
to
you
go to
ever-
the fight? Why don't we just enjoy this view together, guys?
You
Wait,
ever
guys.
watch? You ever watch what's it called?
Eternals?
Jujutsu Kaisen?
Go fuck
I watched it.
yourself.
I read it.
What is it? What does that have to do with
Yeah.
this, bro?
Bro,
This
this
is
is where
where
the demons are
Yugi
chilling
and-
now. The demons are chilling.
Oh yeah.
You mean
Bro,
fucking?
yo, super-
You mean fucking
super-
the
literally
guy's
anything you say, bro.
The curses.
the guy's domain expansion, bro?
Wait,
Yeah.
guys.
No, yeah.
Yo,
No, it's not a
is
domain expansion. It's like a low-key spot.
No, that was his domain
Yo.
expansion. That was the beach,
Yo,
bro.
McDaddy joined, bro.
McDaddy's
on our team.
Yo, McDaddy
Yo, yo,
935, bro.
All you need to do
Yo,
is catch the
McDaddy,
mission
let's
area.
go.
Got it?
Guys, you know I'm
What the
actually
fuck?
educated on this map, right?
Everything apart.
So don't fuck up my vibe.
Part of putting it
I haven't
Yo.
even played on this map.
Bro, just use
That's not
just use the
what I
portals,
wanna
bro.
do.
That's all you gotta do, bro.
I'm dead.
Wait, so
I don't
no,
play
bro, I don't
healer,
even know
but I'll
what?
try.
How did you die?
You got it, bro.
They took him for his foams.
Yo, this McDaddy guy said he does not play healer, but he will try.
Snowball fights.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea how this map works.
Just get
Oh,
to
I'm
the
about
point.
to die.
It's domination. It's domination, bro. That's all that matters.
Pussy.
Oh, never mind. I'm cooking though. I'm cooking.
I'm about to die, bro.
Capture the mission area.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play tanks though.
No one's forcing you to play tank, bro.
He's forcing himself to play tank, bro.
Oh. Yo, fuck that guy, bro. Fuck the guy forcing you to play tank.
Oh, thanks for the heals.
Yeah, you're the only one left, bro.
Oh, the Star-Lord's so weak, bro.
Oh, Black Panther's on me.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Hold on, I'm gonna respawn in 32 seconds, bro.
Black Panther's so quick. I can't even catch that.
Yo, if I want to give my input on this map is fucking horrendous. What is this actually? It's like a maze.
Bro, why are you being such a negative Nancy, bro? Like, you haven't
Bro.
even played the map for more than
Oh my god, bro.
You're not even wrong, bro.
Don't worry, bro. We
You're not
just
even
gotta get the portals and we'll be cooking them, bro. All right, hit the
Wait,
portal.
yo,
Start
they have
hitting
no
portals.
tanks here. What the heck?
Is that portal?
Yo, let's just beat these
No,
guys
there's
up,
portals
bro.
in the map that teleport you across the map.
Oh, I thought you said
Not
make
like
a
not
portal.
like a
bro.
Doctor Strange port. Oh, yeah, I mean that works too, bro. I'll probably make it simpler for
Alright, this
motherfuckers
Black
like Alan,
Panther is kind of a problem.
bro. Oh
Meet your
no.
padre.
Oh no.
Realistically, what did he gain from doing that? I hope P fucking gets raped. He said
said
ha ha
ha, ha,
ha.
ha.
Okay, oh nah.
Oh nah.
Nah, that shit pissed me off, bro. I was fine until the ha 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 ha.
This guy's breaking my ankles, cuz.
Black Panther?
Yo, who is that?
Yo, heal me, brother. Oh my god.
Bro, I'm trembling before bats, bro.
This is my third. This is my fourth hero in 4 lives, bro.
Who's oh wait, what?
Yo, sir, but at that point, dog, at that point, you gotta look at yourself and wonder, like,
Yeah, I'll be like, why do I keep
why is you changing? Because I'm not gonna lie, bro.
It's the girl like he's getting a new boyfriend every 2 months. It's like, why are you getting a new boyfriend every
Yo,
2
this
months,
guy,
bro?
this guy is
Like,
not, this guy's like beyond selling,
Nah,
bro.
this
He's
game is
fucking,
broken, bro.
He's fucking buying and returning, bro.
this guy's scamming at this point.
What the? They're black? They're back? Black Panther? No, I was gonna say Black Panther,
They're
but...
white? They're white? They're white?
I mean, it was Black Panther and Venom, I can't lie, they were black,
all.
but...
Yo, Spider-Man, we're just jumping. Yo, Shiba, we're just jumping.
Oh, hell no.
Run. Run for that nigga, yo.
I got you heals, bro. I got you heals, bro. Alan, you're getting cooked, though, I can't lie. Why are you running away from me? I got this guy.
Got him.
Alright, get Black
By the way, I'm
Panther.
taking.
There's a meeting in my bed. In my bed.
I promise you, I'm taking AC scan. I promise you that.
Oh, watch out for that, guys.
Oh,
I
that,
live?
yo, that's some crazy fucking range.
Yo, I live? I had the exact opposite experience, bro. I thought I
Yo,
was gonna
Munir,
die.
use your ultimate.
What?
Sorry, I just panicked. Didn't know what to say.
Why didn't you use your ultimate, bro?
I didn't. I actually had it. I died.
Yeah, that shit actually killing me. Me would like die. Like, yo, please, bro, you jump.
This guy said, dude, rap, do something. Yo, what do you
Yo,
want?
please, bro. Nah, man, that shit actually killing me. Yo, Sherpa, you stupid fucking. Oh, you lucky bitch. I saw that.
What? Oh, because he took
got
the ace
3
from
kills in a
you?
row. Yeah, he got 3 kills.
I'm the ace. I'm just the GOAT, bro. I don't know what to say, fam.
You literally got it in the last like 2 seconds. Nice ult.
I think when the last time he got Magic Ultimate, he got nobody after, yo.
Tanks?
Oh, what does that even mean?
What do you mean, what does that mean? You said
What
thanks,
do
bro.
you mean?
Dun, 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 dun.
30 seconds before you attack.
Thank. Should I?
Why? Yeah. Super, you said to the team, bro.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. I definitely understood what you're saying.
Things got weirder from there. I'll tell you about it sometime.
Y'all paid your taxes yet? What?
4, 3, 2.
What is bro asking though?
Get into the.
I want you.
Get
I
into the
wait,
movie.
whoa, what is this guy waffling over? I want you.
Oh, what's the fraud, bro?
I'm doing
Whoa,
fraud.
Duck Marley.
Yo, a bunch of terrorists here, bro.
Yo, what is going on, man?
Whoa.
I'm
Like,
doing
I want
fraud.
you.
You sure those are bad?
Yeah, you doing fraud, McDaddy?
Oh, yo, well,
I mean,
one of them said yeah.
I've never committed fraud, no, dog.
On purpose?
Yo, Black Panther violated me, bro.
I mean, not on purpose. Hey, some paperwork I
I just
entered
be
wrong. Is that
boxing
really
people,
my
bro.
fault?
Get a kill, bro.
Can't be, bro.
Yo,
They knew the answer.
On God,
Back in the fight.
bro. I just want.
yeah, you watch the gameplay?
Yo.
We just punching a bunch of dudes
Alan's-
and running away.
Alan's
punching
selling,
a
bro?
bunch of dudes. Bro, I'm not selling. If you watch my gameplay, like 3 men chasing me, bro.
Alan's getting commission off of
3
these
men
kills.
chasing you, bro?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were baddie like that.
Wait, what?
Wait.
Yeah, sure, but if you actually
you're
watch that
detained, bro.
gameplay,
This
you
guy's really
actually don't know
detained, bro.
what's
You got 3 men chasing you? Yo, get these frauds.
Double KO. You seen stars?
Yeah. Yo, look at this fucking Black Panther, bro. Oh, he took me. Oh my god.
How is he so good? I just.
Oh my god.
Yo, why is he after me?
What do you mean, why is he after you? Because he killed 3 of us already, bro. You're just next.
Bro, I thought I was hidden.
Yo, he is good though. I will admit that.
Bro, it's not hidden if you're obviously hiding in there, bro. Oh,
So I'm
Don't worry, guys.
oh, I'm so
Nah,
close.
I'm on my 7th hero.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Iron Man, I think we
log
actually got
out.
this
Log
time.
out, bro. Sir, this place you gotta log out, bro. What is this, bro?
Someone needs a snowball in the face.
Oh, nah, I actually believe in you as Iron Man, bro.
Be strong together.
Got the fish, bro.
Hey.
Bro got ha ha ha.
Ja. Yo, get the Black Panther, though. That's the real thing we need to do. Oh, co-op time? Let's go. Black Panther's half health. He's running. He got a health pack. He got the health pack. I'm still chasing him. Alright, I'm running away. He's touching me. I'm ulting because he's touching me.
I'll get you next time. Strike lightning.
Yo, guys are back. The shark is back.
Keep an eye on this spot. I like the cold.
Oh,
Oh my god.
get Star-Lord. Get Star-Lord.
Black Panther is dead.
Alright, get Scarlet. Get Scarlet. Get Scarlet. Get Scarlet. Get Scarlet. Oh, I'm dead.
Just hide.
Fuck.
No, I was actually trying to kill her. You guys are hiding, bro. I
Yo,
don't
she's just
doing
killing me up the
but then
scar,
you
bro.
couldn't kill her once we was in the fucking invisible woman shit, bro.
Literally just teleported.
Dude, this guy thinks I can like one hit kill, bro.
Oh, yeah, take the portal. Take the portal. Take the portal. Alright, you didn't take the portal.
Fuck
Yo,
your
this is
portal,
the
bro.
best jet I've ever seen, bro.
I'm getting my cardio in right now.
That's one way to see it.
I only got one person with
Alright,
that.
Black Panther's dead. Black Panther's dead. Alright, get the Punisher. Get the Punisher. Oh, I'm dead.
Guys, about to lose.
This fucking shark is killing my ass. Oh,
Watch out for that, guys.
Storm's about to
Yeah,
cook for
this-
us. Yeah.
Super good shit. Beat his fucking ass. Use your ult at the right time.
Get in there, Surfo.
I can't stop fucking dying, guys.
Well, Duck Marley's in our back line. The healers are dead. Oh, my bad. I was like half a second too slow. It's okay. It's just Black Panther left.
Another hit for Luna Snow.
Where is he?
That is
Just
not
straight.
a-
He's over there. He's over there. He's over there. He's over there.
Keep an eye
Where?
on
Where?
Behind this fucking tree, bro.
Oh my god, Scar.
He's up. He's up.
Okay.
Tremble before power.
Oh my
Time for me to
god.
switch.
Hey, you spent a good amount of time on Iron Man though. 19 and 9.
Someone needs a snowball.
I'm stuck. Oh my.
Take the portal. Take the portal. Take the portal. Take the portal.
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
But generally, how are we even losing? I'm really confused.
Black Panther.
Jeff's dead. Jeff's dead. Jeff's dead.
Yo, we need to target them together. But you, we're also getting raped by him.
Oh, I died.
Yeah, it's hard to focus on one guy when everyone's
I
just
get
come
it.
together like that. You know?
Surfa, hold it down for the love of God.
No, we're doing it.
Someone needs a snowball in the
Oh,
face.
fuck.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm almost back.
Got the shark dead.
Oh, you stepped off the point.
Everyone got off.
Big Daddy,
Oh,
Big
yo,
Daddy,
yo.
no.
We got off point. We got off point. We got off.
Big Daddy got off point for a second, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. I got off point, and someone else got off point with me. We were jumping like 2 people.
I mean, that's probably where the Scarlet Witch is gonna release her ult, right? So
Yeah, we had to step off point for a second, but
Fuck.
alright.
No, we need an unorthodox team up, bro. Let's just, let's just everyone randomize their character right now, bro. Close your eyes and pick someone. I think that's what we need to do.
Alright, bet.
Snow. Like the moon.
Again, that's crazy. What are the chances?
Damn.
The battlefield may change, but the war never ends.
Okay,
No way I got Luna Snow.
that's good. You have a team up with Super Eats.
Oh, yeah.
Starts in 5,
I've never used Luna Snow before, by the way.
3,
Ready to do
That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Bro,
We just need to be fresh,
you're
bro.
attacking your healer with the same button.
Got it?
Yo, so Black Panther should
If
be
you,
like
if you guard someone when you heal them, or when you heal someone else, it heals them too.
Okay, so we're gonna just like beeline it for the Black Panther.
Yeah.
We have to, yeah.
I bet.
I'm
gonna
going for the healer,
healers.
bro. Yeah, let's go.
Alright.
Subi, how'd you get Iron Fist again, yo?
This guy didn't.
The healer killed me, bro. I ain't gonna lie, the healer got me still.
What the
It's all good,
fuck?
it's all good.
Oh my god. Okay, touch the point. The point's down here. The point's down here.
Do not let them cap.
Scarlet
Good
Witch
shit,
is
good shit,
down.
good shit.
Oh,
Good
there's
shit.
shark. Oh, he still swallowed me.
Pause.
Oh, you did, okay. There's nowhere to go. Let's go.
Michi padre, michi madre. Yo, Black Panther's up here.
Yo, if you can't get the Black Panther, just fucking take everyone that's around him, bro.
Oh my fucking god.
But then he just takes the whole team himself.
I'm actually getting cooked by the shark right now. I can't lie to you.
He's
So
that
quick, you
good.
can't even lock on to him.
Yeah, he cooked me. Okay.
Thought I was gone for
Okay.
good.
Got there, Jeff?
Oh, it's the fucking ha 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 guy, bro.
Bro, this Black Panther is so quick.
Don't give them
This
what
guy's
they
36 and 4, just fucking dashing back and forth on us, bro.
Control lost.
Oh shit.
Who killed me? Oh, we all have our ults, bro.
Except for our healers.
The healer's got it just
Oh shit. Alan wants this. Alan wants that MVP, bro. I'm taking that from him, though.
Oh, you fucking ran away, bro. Man. Alright, well,
I'm making all the right plays, bro. I'm making all the right plays. Go straight for point, you know? Have to lock in.
Shut up, bro.
You're just mad, bro. Because I'm gonna take it from you. You're just mad because you're not getting it, bro. I'm literally not gonna let you touch it.
That's what I needed.
If anything, you just made me like work locking harder, bro.
You captured more than half.
Hey man, no complaints here.
You can still enjoy
I used that a little too early, still.
They're capturing the point.
What things I care about that right now?
Alright, buddy.
Bro, I have more kills than him. Why is he doing better than me?
Oh wow, if I had $1 for every time I said that.
you're gonna see at the end of the match, bro. You're gonna see at the end of the match.
Yo, Black Panther on point.
Oh yeah.
Whoa, this guy's too fast, bro.
The good thing
Oh,
is
hell no. Oh, okay. Okay. Black Panther's one
Black
shot.
Panther's so weak.
Alright, that makes everything. Oh, not this guy.
He's dead?
Black Panther's gonna kill me.
Bro, how did you go?
Fuck.
Oh, it's so,
Oh my
so
god.
Quick. Like, it's so quick.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
was
don't
locked
give
the
it to him, bro.
fuck in,
Stop giving it to him, bro.
Huh?
Don't give it.
Thought I was
Huh?
gone for good.
I was going in there though.
Huh?
Yeah, bro. You sound so gay, bro. I was actually going in there. Pause. That Black Panther is really good though. Oh my goodness.
Huh?
Bro, what the
Holy
fuck,
shit, bro. He's
man?
still cooking us.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not even dealing with that still.
Bro, they're
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
sorry,
point.
Super. I'm not avenging. I'm not avenging you
I'm
still.
not an Avenger,
I
bro.
didn't. It's okay.
I didn't expect you to.
Bro, this guy Black Panther.
Bro, they got
chasing
no
us.
tank. What are we struggling with right now?
Yeah, because they made
Black
this guy
Panther.
fucking like disappear in the blink
Yeah,
of an
you
eye.
ain't lying
It's
about that one,
ridiculous.
dude.
42
Bro's
and
goated.
5. Holy shit, man.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
don't go in there.
Alright.
Well, 44.
Bro, I
44,
can't even
44.
do anything. Like, I can't even get to the point.
Don't hit me. I gotta switch. Actually, no. I'm gonna come back.
McDaddy's talking about.
Actually, no.
how
I'm
he
gonna
can't
switch.
do
I'm gonna switch.
I mean, someone has to target that Black Panther, bro. He's literally the only reason they're winning.
Yo, it's literally impossible to touch him.
To be honest, I've been getting hits. I just can't kill him. I don't do enough.
Yeah,
damage.
same. Like I could do a little, couple hits on him, and then that's it.
I can't get near that nigga.
He's fucking fast.
Because yo, what I do is wherever his dash is gonna be next is where I aim my punch. So I get him every time, but I can't kill him.
Jeff is dead.
Guys, lock in. We're actually about to lose.
Pop that ultimate, yo.
Give me a second.
Super, you're gonna want to pop it right now.
Kill this guy. Kill this guy. All right, we're good.
Good shit.
Alright, we
Good
got
shit,
it.
Scooby. Good shit. Good shit.
Keep fighting until
Yo, I guess I still got it, eh? I guess.
Good shit.
No, man.
F y'all. Yo, why you mad though, bro? Yo, no wait. Yo, okay, yo. Do you guys think Peppa deserves that ace on their team?
Yeah, he was cooking,
Why not?
bro. Look at his fucking stats, bro. He out healed everybody. And he
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Damage like everybody
That-
too, bro.
That Dark Panther might be the most insane.
What?
Yo, this guy's racist, bro. Who? This guy's racist, bro. What's up with this dude, bro?
Surfa, how many
Genuinely-
characters did you play, bro? Holy shit.
Yo, Surfer played the entire Marvel Rivals like game.
9 8 characters, bro.
I'm gonna take a picture. What the fuck is it?
That's actually crazy.
So you guys gonna do one more match or what?
I'm down. with
down.
you,
I'm down.
How many times do I have to die to play the entire roster, bro?
The right heroes
30.
can make all the difference.
Say less.
30 something. Say less? What do you mean say less?
Fucking
You can
all
play the
dive.
whole roster because then we'd have to switch
I
characters.
got inspired still. I'm not gonna switch.
Nah, Surfer's actually killing me, bro. Why did he play this fucking like? What the fuck?
Anybody useful have a Black Panther team up? Silent. Magic?
Yo, Duck Marley though, bro, insane run, man. I gotta respect his run. He might actually be fucking him. Wait, what? He might be fucking him?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man? What the fuck?
Whoa. Good one. Good
What
one.
the fuck?
Caught me slipping there.
Slipping on Seaman, bro? Like ASAP
Demon?
Rocky?
Oh, yeah. I was hoping somebody would make that reference. I threw the lob.
That actually happened to somebody. Who the fuck was that again?
ASAP Rocky.
ASAP Ferg?
Was it ASAP Rocky?
A$AP
Oh
Ferg
no,
and A$AP
ASAP
Rocky.
Rocky mentioned.
Rocky, sorry.
Yeah, no. Rocky mentioned someone. So that happened.
No, he was there, bro.
We was slipping on semen.
Battle starts in 5,
No homo.
4,
No, all homo.
1.
Alright, I'm gonna be DPS Rocket, by the way, guys. We have no healers.
Mission area.
Alright, we're definitely losing. Fuck this guys. I'm running it.
Fuck this guy? What? Yo, Iron Fist, stay alive, stay alive.
Another
stay
one.
alive, stay alive. DJ
Another
Khaled
Black
reference?
Panther. I have Black Panther PTSD
I'm
now,
dead.
bro.
Black Panther PTSD, bro. This guy's a racist.
Yo, I did not think Black Panther would be so good.
Yo, Black Panther's generally insane, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He's doing the same thing. Like this guy's doing the same thing, just not as good.
I mean, you don't know yet, bro. He's maybe he's just getting warmed up.
That's worse, if anything, bro.
Yo, guys.
Why are we all the way back here, bro?
Because we all died. What do you mean, why? You're about to die again? You're about to be even further away now? That's great, bro. Just bring them all over here.
Where did that bring you?
Let me kill this guy, bro. Thank you.
As long as I'm getting healed, I'm gonna lock it.
Bro, okay. Yo, Storm's cooking us.
I'm actually locking in.
Okay.
Actually, I should just start.
Yo, Surf, I'm stealing another ace from you, by the way. Oh, Surf is actually locked
I wanted to kill
in.
the Iron Man.
Whenever you guys fight, he locks in. We're still not getting ace.
Who's
Watch
opening
your
a
fucking
portal,
mouth. They're
bro?
portaling.
Bro, just kill him. You can see him, bro. Bro, he portaled like right behind. Why did you? It wasn't even that far, bro. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, never mind. I'm still alive.
Oh
Even
man,
hit
this
anybody
thing's
with
going
that?
crazy.
I got like 3 assists, so you guys probably got the kills.
All right. Yeah, Alan, just go. We're just gonna heal you from over here, bro.
Yeah, nigga, out of here.
Oh yeah, you're dead, bro. My fault.
Yeah,
my
like Shamar said.
They were all jumping the fuck out of me.
Oh, I don't want to feel the wrath of the goddess.
No,
bro.
watch out. Yo, don't run it together. You gotta run separately.
That's so stupid. You guys are so dumb for that, bro. I watched that.
Bro, I just took the closest exit, bro.
That's what she wants you to do, bro. You gotta bait her. Yo,
Holy
why
fuck,
was there like, yo, Super, why were you 1v like 60 for a second there?
I
bro?
just captured the point, right? And I was like, let's see how long I have to stay here. I turned around, I saw the fucking Avengers Force come at me. I was like, alright, bro. Like,
I thought he was Gojo for a second there, bro. He just started laughing at me.
Yo, Alan, live, bro.
I am, I'm living.
I'm about to
Oh, I'm
die.
about to die though. Oh.
No way, pop out.
I clutched up for you, Munir. I clutched up for you. I bounced him up so you
Yo, I'm
couldn't
trying
hit
to heal Jeff, bro. Just getting Black Panthered in the back. I'm dead.
you. Bro's focus on the wrong retard, bro.
Huh?
You gotta focus on me.
Bro, I'm focused on the
how did I
guy
die
who's
so
keeping me alive,
fucking
bro.
fast? Oh, he has the amplifier, that's why.
Okay, but
Do not focus on that Jeff, bro. Do not focus on that Jeff. That
I
Jeff
almost
is
have
ass.
amplifier. I almost have amplifier. Oh, Storm, don't die.
This is real firepower. More dangerous.
Oh, not looking good. Not looking good. I'm dead.
Oh, thank God, we got rid of the Iron Fist.
No, I missed.
Here they come.
How does this nigga still have it?
What do you mean? We literally have the same stat line.
Exactly. Why do you have?
And you already know I have more damage than you, so.
No, you don't.
He probably has more damage blocked though.
Thanks, that's it. And I'm about to beat him right now. There, got one. I want to get 2.
That was literally my kill, bro.
I got the kill. Alright, you know what? I'm going for another one. Just yo, Simple, do not stay near me, bro. Get the fuck away from me.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for the heals.
Pussy. Oh God.
Don't mind me. I'm just dying.
Foiling again.
Open up, portal.
Oh my goodness, I was
Oh my
actually
God, Iron Fist is
annihilated.
touching me. Iron Fist is touching me.
Put it on down.
Come back here.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my.
Come on, bro. How you gonna let that happen if you're trying to get ace?
Relay deployed. It ain't cheap.
I got triple team. Pause.
Whoa!
Tremble before blast.
I'm extra lethal. You're ready for action.
Oh my fucking God, bro.
Kill that nigga, Allen. Kill that nigga, Allen. Pussy.
Yo, this guy's hating on me, bro. My own team is praying for my downfall for me to die, bro. What is this?
I'll patch you up.
Yo, honestly, anytime that me and Sheriff are dead, that's like the perfect chance for the other person to lock in. Fuck you guys, bro.
They hitting checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
This is real firepower.
You spawn here. You can eat. You can eat.
No, I already
Oh,
lost
you
it, bro.
missed it? Oh.
I hit the rocket and the fucking thing, and then rocket flew away, bro.
They're over there. Yeah. Oh, Black Panther.
Black Panther's done, bro.
I might be dead here. I'm not dead yet. I'm still living. I'm still alive.
Yeah, kill Alan. Kill Alan.
Kill Alan.
Motherfucker's not helping me is crazy. Nah, I'm kidding.
Hashtag rape Alan.
You're welcome. Armor patch here. Hey
I know my damage
Oh, that you're about to eat. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back out.
Still eat, actually. Oh, he's chasing me, bro. Fuck. Everybody. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, that was funny. That was funny.
I'm back. Armor patch here. Pay up.
No heals is crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
It's real firepower.
Portaling again? How many fucking portals they got?
You're ready for action.
Oh, Surfo. No, you're good. You're good.
What's showing favoritism, bro? Nah, this is cheating, bro.
Bro, he's on the point. Where are you?
I'm coming right now. I'm actually taking care of 2 of them, so you guys can stay on point.
Oh. Okay, you're good. Oh, I'm dead.
I missed. Oh my god, that's so crazy.
Oh, I'm so cooked.
Clutch. Yo, Stark, you fucking retard, just heal.
Huh? Oh, shark.
You stopped them in their tracks. Only 60 seconds left.
Holy shit. Oh.
Why is Shark trying to 1v1 fucking Doctor Strange, bro? I don't know what he was cooking with that.
It's now or never. Stop them.
You're ready for action.
Finally, you hit them, bro.
Bro, get these guys out of here.
Down to 30 seconds.
Doc, I'm literally on point.
Alan,
Thank you. Fucking finally, bro.
Yo, this Iron Fist's on my ass.
Doctor Strange is on my ass right now, bro. Everybody's behind you. Turn around. Oh. I think you went a little too deep chasing one person, bro.
All good. I'm still locked in. Very locked in right now. I can't even lie to you.
I am ready to put on a show.
Oh shit.
Told you.
Oh shit.
Oh, but I died though. You guys better lock in for me.
Bro, everybody's still alive, bro. What do you mean? They're all
Yeah,
there.
I fucking missed my ult.
Oh man.
Yo,
Oh,
how
man.
good is this team that we're playing this well and we're still like, what the fuck? I generally feel like we're playing well.
Incoming.
Someone's got a touch point. On point.
Oh, it's game.
Oh,
And I'm cooking up point too. And Storm's with me. Storm might go. Oh, it's smart.
Let's OT, just get this one bitch. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Give me that shit.
Oh my god.
I don't know what happened.
Bro, what did I tell you about my damage, bro? What did I tell you about my damage?
You run back one more time?
Yo, fuck you, bro. Just like a shield
Run it
again.
back. One more.
Down. This guy is not taking it from you, bro.
Yo, Shamar should have gotten MVP, bro.
Honestly, he was locked in at the end there. I can't even lie.
Didn't even agree with me. Just said yeah. That's cool story. That's cool story, bro.
Hey man.
Alan's not a nice guy, bro.
No, I never. Yo, honestly,
I don't even know who you really
got it,
are, bro.
He's greedy, bro.
You
He's
got it,
greedy,
you
bro.
got it. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. For MVP, I am. I can't even lie to you.
Yeah, I was like, Alan, yeah, you should be prideful about it. Let these guys know, you know, like I'm the MVP.
Yeah, Surfo, you
I'm
want MVP this time?
I'm gonna play my character. bro. Don't
Not
worry.
me.
You want MVP this time? I'll take the thing from him.
Team to win this.
No. Let him have it, bro. Let him have it.
Alright, you know what? Fuck it, I'll play Thor. No, I'm kidding. I actually want to play. Wait, no healers, bro. I'm definitely losing, bro.
You got one, bro. Manito? Yo. It's like Manito, but it's Manito, bro. That's crazy.
Let me quickly go grab a snack.
Yeah, this guy's not locked in at all, bro.
Manito switch. Why?
One healer, bro.
Right is right, and wrong is wrong.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Yo, Surf, I hope you know that Alan's like trying to roast you in the group chat, bro.
Is that it?
No, I'm not, bro. I literally just mentioned the fact you changed
Surf
character
was trying to play the whole entire roster. He's trying to picture, bro. Nah.
The battle starts in 5.
What do you mean?
GG's, bro.
3.
No, how is that? Like, how is that roasting you? I just sent the picture
with the. Yeah, you sent the. That's doing a lot, bro.
Really? I just thought it was funny.
I didn't say it wasn't funny.
Oh no, it was especially funny.
Can somebody kill this guy? Oh, he ran.
Bro, I'm not even playing. Alright, sure, but you definitely got MVP now.
I'm hunkering down.
Okay, now I'm back.
Oh, I fucked up.
I'm here. But I am here. Oh, they're running? Yeah, this is gonna be easy.
Bad shots, bad shots. Let's go.
Yeah, I forgot we only still have one healer.
Oh wow, okay.
I'll meet my
Oh, look at this little animal. Little sea urchin.
Oh, this guy switched to Hawkeye now, bro. What is this guy cooking, man? Oh, Bumbo Rasta.
You died?
No, but I ran into enemies real quick. Now I'm about to die. Magic killed me.
Meet your padre. Okay, circle, dog. I missed 30 seconds, and why am I still ace, bro?
Extended my deployment.
This Captain America's annoying as hell, yo.
Bro, we're just flying everywhere. Like, just stay in the same place, bro.
Battlefield ready again.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Moon Knight down.
I think that's their whole team, bro. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna, like, absolutely fuck them. What?
Dumbass.
10.
Yo, you guys got him or what's going on?
We're fucking in the ass, buddy.
Mark and his ox. Neutralize the ox. Need some ranged firepower.
Meet your padre. Meet your madre. Oh, Surfer has it now. He's locked in. Sorry. Oh, cute. No. What are you guys talking about? Meet your padre. Meet your madre.
Judge, jury, executioner!
Super, I appreciate you pushing every time.
Oh yeah, whenever I see somebody with me, I'm like, fuck yeah, why not? I didn't come in this game just. It's not called Marvel Rivals to be peaceful.
Yeah, no, I'll be there and they're alone, and all of a sudden I just see you come out of nowhere, dog.
I'm like, I don't care if I die. Like I'm.
This kid is about to smoke. Dog, we're actually pushing them into their fucking thing.
Oh, they're still on this spawn? That's jokes. That's fucking jokes, bro. I'm actually, like, doing ungodly things to them right now. Bro,
Yeah,
how far back is the point? I just realized. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, damn, bro, we're kind of far away.
Bro. whole team putting in work right now. Oh, we start ulting.
Fuck, you got me. And this moving went the wrong way.
Oh, he's dead.
Got him.
Yo, Munir, you have 23, bro?
Yeah.
You're actually touching them up. Yo,
Bro,
bro,
Spider-Man.
he's outplaying both of us.
Fundamentals, bro. They took the point, by the way.
You're not even wrong. Bro's talking about the point, bro. We're raping them so bad. I don't even think the point's like a problem.
Bro, they
The
just
point has-
captured the
heals,
point,
bro.
bro.
I need heals, bro.
Come back and just respawn.
Yeah, I got my third death.
Extended my deployment.
Ulting on me is crazy.
Oh, bro, if you guys were gonna get the point, I just would have waited and spawned, bro. Fuck. Fuck.
Judge, jury, executioner.
Descender full speed.
Don't mess with the amazing
Oh, you fucking ulted on my ult.
I point.
Nice.
Extended my deployment.
Spider Zero must reach the shrine. Let's get this show on the road.
That was a pretty funny view. I can't even lie.
You guys fucking being super greedy over there. What's going on? Oh, Spider-Man! He's gonna kill me.
Yo, I know when Serapho's seeing me getting jumped, he's just like, watch, he's looking good. Now he's dead.
Spider-Man actually like my biggest op.
Back for another tour.
That's it! You're ready to continue the grand finale. Behold, their child!
Behold the god of thunder.
Man, so much shit to behold, bro. Chill. Oh my god.
Yeah, low key. I was like, it's not even that important, bro.
So close! This is your big chance! Fire mode!
Free fire zone.
Double KO!
Oh, I died again. Oh.
Just in time. Thanks.
Now I'm getting mad.
Damn, Manito just did some crazy shit.
I am ready to put on a show!
Gay out.
Oh my god.
Heavy weapons. You up.
Yay.
Yay.
Damn it, bro. One more.
What a game, bro. What the fuck?
Not gonna lie, I played this character specifically to take MVP from both of you.
That's so crazy.
That's so funny.
That's so crazy.
I'm about to hop off though. Yeah, I gotta watch the Lakers game still.
Easy,
Say less.
Little boys.
Easy.
Alright, are you off? Bye bye, Alibaba.